All right. I am live, I think. It's been a while. So, don't really know for sure. Gotta have to double check. But, anyways, I think I'm back. Hope you guys are all doing great today. And right now, I'm just looking at futures. Market had a nice bounce. I've been bouncing around between these two screens here. So, this is what I'm normally looking at. I'm just kind of looking at SPY, and I know it's gonna be a while until YouTube really notifies anyone, but just gonna slowly trickle into this, try to make it not so awkward for myself, because man, it is weird. It is so weird when you're just talking to yourself at first, even though I know eventually people will watch it. It's a little different going live than it is just recording a video. So here I am just chilling for Power Hour, and I'm excited to be back day one of who knows how many. I'd love to go on a super long streak. I've been pretty inspired by Roman Atwood. I don't know how many of you guys have watched him. But I've been a fan for quite a while, for I don't know how many years, but I think I actually found his channel when I was watching RC car videos, which is pretty random. But anyways, enough about that. It is Power Hour, and I think I got this going. There we go, up on the screen. So looking at SPY, and let's just zoom out a little bit. You can see right here I do have the hour chart, or actually, wait, no, this is the 15. I switch between 15 and hour just so I can keep a broader idea of what the market is really doing. Um, oh, what's up, Laura Vaughn? Sorry, my chat. I'm still trying to figure out the chat too. I think I got it going though. Hold on. Let's see here. I didn't see it pop up right away, so sorry for the delay. But yeah, what's up? Good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. If you guys have anything you want me to look at specifically, just let me know. But really just kind of chilling, just trying to figure out a good flow, a good rhythm for the stream. So yeah, it's pretty weird. But here it is. So here's Spy on the Hour right now. Excuse me one second. All right, so up on the hour chart here, and you can see we're coming up to some strong resistance. And if you traded today, man, there are some good moves both down and up. And this bounce, I was expecting a bounce for sure, but I did not expect that full recovery. So to see it recover and then break through resistance, this is pretty strong indication that we could be coming up for a reversal, but really the test is going to be if we can break through this level of resistance right here around that 554 level. So until we hit that level, it's going to be really hard to tell. And I don't think today we're going to hit it, but I mean, you never know. SPY hitting 50 million volume, which is pretty good. I'm not sure what the average is right now. I know last time I checked it was around 65 or 70. So I would estimate, it typically kind of bounces between 60 and 80 million depending on the time frame you're looking at. So, during obviously more volatile times, volatile times, I would expect more action, more volume, and especially during an election quarter, or however you want to call that, election season, I guess is what you call it. I would expect more volatility too, especially heading into that. So that's something I'm also going to be looking at is some long-term contracts. I'm going to kind of zoom out on the market, take a look at it, and see what kind of cheap contracts I can come across that I can swing trade. I did that, a few weeks back, probably a month or so, all off stream, just in a different account, and it played out well. Just holding it on for I think 2 weeks or so, and it was a contract that I think expired in like 60 days, something like that. I played a couple different ones, so I can't remember exactly which one it was. But I did like that style. It's kind of nice to have that while you're also day trading, so you can kind of watch it depending on the way the market's going. And also a big part of that is where VIX is at. Excuse me. I don't think I'm used to talking this much. So depending on where VIX is at, so here's the VIX chart. You want to buy your contracts that you're planning on holding long term. You want to buy those with VIX as low as possible because that's when they're going to be the cheapest possible, to put it simply. So, as long as you're paying attention to both of those things and have a plan and wait for a good entry, your odds of success are much greater. You lower that, you increase that lower rate, whatever. Your risk to reward goes up. Reward to risk. Risk goes down, reward goes up. Sorry. And that's a good way to play it. So right now it's kind of, on support. It'll be interesting to see. I won't expect this to do much until SPY makes the next move. And so SPY breaks resistance, VIX could also keep dropping down. That's kind of what I would expect to see happen. Typically they are inverse of each other, but don't always count on it because that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you can hedge with a call and a put, and VIX will start ripping and both contracts will move. It all just depends. Like on this day, I'm sure there's a couple contracts that were opposing that were both going up, or at the very least, one of them was staying flat while the other one was going up. So that's also a great position to be in because then you can just cut losses quicker on that one that's not really moving, and then set that stop loss, take profit on the one that is in profit and kind of ride that out. So that's one way to go about it. And it's always great to be in that spot right there. As soon as I'm in profit, I like to set my stop loss and get ready to sell right away. If it pulls back. And all that depends, of course, on how much buying power you have left in the day, your account size, things like that. But when you're trading, a $20, $30 account and you're trading a $10 contract, for example, let's see what's going on right now. So SPY is ripping and man, so earlier I was holding a 552 call and you can see it actually right here. Yeah. Bought and sold. So I held it for, 14 minutes. I just got tired of holding it. The market wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And actually we can kind of zoom in here and you guys can see where I got in and out. So I got in at 11:38 right around here. Right as the market started moving, and then it went up, came back down, and I said, all right, I'm just gonna get out, break even while I can here. And then it bounced so hard from that point and just uptrended. And let's take a look at what it's at now. This is going to burn. Actually, you guys might have just seen, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe subconsciously I was trying to look away. Yeah, 75. So this contract absolutely ripped today. What was going on there? And my stomach is growling really loud. You guys might even hear it. But it is currently at 76 and it hit 136. Pretty freaking crazy. So as frustrating as this is a great example for all you guys to see the power of options. If you've never traded options, if you've been scared, because of you've heard the excuse me, you've heard things of people blowing up their accounts, or there's always horror stories, or you'll see things on Reddit. You don't have to start with a huge amount of money and risk all of your hard-earned money and your life savings. You can start off with $3, for example, and that thing went, I don't know what that percentage gain is. Pretty insane. Actually, I can draw a line and we can see. So from 3, if I can even get to, I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit. Oops. Or zoom in. I don't know if the screen's big enough for it to even register. Alright, I could just do the math if I was really smart, but I ain't smart like that, you guys. So from 3 all the way to 136, if that's it, 136 right there, 4,000%. That is nuts. That's what this contract ran today, and I had it and sold it break even, which is pretty embarrassing now that I look at it. Pretty frustrating, but in my defense or in my excuse, I was doing other things. I wasn't able to sit there and babysit it. So I've been running around all morning and things like that. But if I was, man, this would have been a good one to hold on to. And honestly, I probably would have ended up taking profit around this $50 range. Maybe even 40 on a pullback. If I'm being realistic, that's probably how it would have played out for me. But this is a good case where you could have bought, multiple contracts at once and still risked very little. If you had 3 of those, sold 1 or 2 on this pop and then just held one, willing to risk it all because you're already well into profit. There's nothing really to risk. Man, this is a great, great trade and setup for that. So be on the lookout for these kind of moves, and the way you kind of prepare yourself best for those is just looking at the chart and doing technical analysis. Look at that hour chart, kind of look and see where the market might bounce, where it's going to go next, where supply and demand is, where support and resistance is. Look for the gaps to fill. Right here, this actually bounced a little bit before I was expecting, and it kind of screwed me over. I was actually holding a put that went pretty negative, which kind of ran me even on the day, which was a little frustrating. So after today, I'm going to pull some money out and then probably start a $25 challenge tomorrow. But yeah, that was a little bit annoying. I got faked out here waiting for that gap to fill. And part of that was a little bit of just like, I guess, a little FOMO, I would call it, because I wasn't home and able to capitalize on that nice downtrend. And I was just like, screw it. It looks like there's still room. There's still part of the gap to fill. And I just went for it. But not all gaps will completely fill. So be aware of that. This is a good example. Don't rely on the gap to completely fill, because as soon as you do, and you think you're smarter than the market, it's gonna correct you really quick. So it's always good to hedge, and I think I was actually hedged at this point, and so offset a little bit. But a little frustrating because, like I just showed you guys, if I was holding that 552 call, man, it would have been crazy. But that would have been nice to do on live stream too. So hopefully in the future we can see some nice setups like that and we can play them live. Right now I'm actually completely tapped on buying power, so not a good start. Tomorrow I'll save money and I'll be ready to do more trading live stream, I think. Hopefully there is a good move if the market doesn't make that whole move today. But for now, today, what we can do while it is ripping, let's look at the levels. And I'm still getting used to this freaking chair, you guys. It is hurting my butt. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's a pretty hard office chair. We just had an extra office chair, and I was like, all right, I'll use that. The one I usually use, or the one you've seen in other videos, so much more comfortable. It's those things that you don't really appreciate until you don't use them, and you're like, dang, why is my freaking back and neck hurting? But yeah, I digress. So right now I'm looking for those levels, and you can see 553 is probably the next strong level of resistance I'll look for. And really that's almost kind of common sense. You're going to want to look for all those even numbers, all those solid dollar amounts, and even the half dollar amounts. Like for example, right here, you see it hit resistance at 552.50. Not surprising. That doesn't mean it's going to be a strong pullback. Within each trend, you'll always see micro trends. So I mean, right now we're on an hour chart, so we're looking at the hour trend. But if you zoom in, to the 15, it's going to look different depending on your time basis. And if you get too focused and too zoomed in on 15-second chart, for example, or the 1-minute chart, man, you can get just lost in the sauce, not realize where support or resistance is, and then just end up taking a bad position and getting a bad entry because you're not fully prepared. So that is why I like to keep the hour and 15 up here, and sometimes a 4-hour too. That way I can always, keep a freaking pulse on the market and just a reminder, even though I'm looking at it every day. Things can change quickly, and unless you're marking every level, like you can see here, I marked pretty well. Sometimes they get annoying and I'll just randomly delete them. So it is what it is. But as you can see, we're coming up on resistance, and it looks like it's about to break through. We can go over to the futures. The problem right now I have with this, when I go over to this screen, I can't see the market. And I like to watch everything when I'm trading. So on the right hand side, you can see I have some of the bigger stocks, and I'm just making sure they're all there because for whatever reason, sometimes Webull will just like change them around for me, and I'll end up having like 3 or 4 that say Apple, and I'm like, who would even honestly want to watch 4 different Apple charts? But yeah, this is ripping right now. Pretty impressive. So I'm watching for that resistance at 553, and we'll kind of see what happens, see if the market reacts there. And then on the right hand side here, like I said, I have these 6 charts, and I actually have 2 sets of them. This one I have of more of an hour to 4-hour that I flip around, and then this one right here I keep around the minute to 15-second. I like to look at depending on where I'm at in a trade. Oof, man, yeah, the market is exploding. So right now it's pretty mutual. what you see. Sometimes you'll see the market kind of all over the place, and then other times it'll be way more obvious what the market wants to do, and everything is just in sync like this. I mean, it's all lockstep. So there might be, you know what? There might be something going on right now that I should be more aware about, and that's something I am going to get better at being prepared for these. That way we can make sure you're covering all our bases here. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. Let's see what it says right here in the news. Um, uh, let's see here. All right. My you guys might hear my stomach. I am so hungry. I'm trying to hold off until I get to the gym, and I'm trying to head to the gym as soon as the market closes. Get back on this grind. I've taken a couple weeks off from the gym now, and I hate it. The first week it kind of feels nice. You're like, yeah, it feels good to be out of there. Get a break from it, and then you start feeling a little weaker. You start feeling a little slower. It's a little harder to get off the couch. It's a little harder to pick up the kids. You're like, man, it happens quick. So body in motion stays in motion. And I'm sure as you get older, those breaks I'm gonna have to shorten them. You know what I mean? I can't just take a month off all the time. So it's almost like a tradition after summer. It's like you go so hard all summer, and then next thing you know, you're just like, man, just give me the cake. But I am distracted. Sorry about that. S&P index regained ground Wednesday with a boost from the technology sector, offsetting investor disappointment at the early morning inflation report, which crushed hopes the Federal Reserve would cut interest rates by 50 basis points. S&P Technology Index reversed course after opening lower and was last up 2.4%, with its biggest boost from Nvidia up 6.3%. Semaphore reported that the U.S. government is considering letting the AI chip company export advanced chips to Saudi Arabia. All right, so it's just ripping on the tech sector, and it is still going, you guys. It's not giving up. Not giving up. All right. Sorry, I've not been checking the comments. More affordable ETFs I can buy because I want to buy further out contracts that are not so expensive. $25 challenge would help you focus. Yeah, it is something that definitely helps you focus. And when you're trading with such a small account like that, like you don't have a lot of room for error, so it will force you to be more patient and wait for better setups. And so there's definitely a lot of advantages to that. And you can just take those exact same skills and just, and grow from there, with the same strategies and everything. It's pretty nice. What's up, John? Thanks for stopping by. Um, so yeah, for example, let's take a look at those contracts. So we see it's ripping on that information. Doesn't seem too surprising, and it's mostly just a rebound. What's pretty crazy is how many people start freaking out as soon as it starts pulling back. You see everyone on Twitter, I've been calling for this pullback. Here's the recession. And this is why I don't care too much about the news, honestly. I just watch the technicals, look for those levels, because time and time again, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see bounces. You can see on this hour chart, it's not a coincidence it bounced here. It's because that's where the previous support was. There's a gap there, yada yada. But let's look at some options a little further out. So on the 30-day, I think I was looking at these earlier. And I'm getting a little cold. My freaking space heater literally just broke right before I started. I'm like, wow, I've had that thing for years, so I guess it's not surprising. But I think I feel the temperature dropping. So I don't know. So this is the 30, and I'm gonna have to look out a little further. And what's crazy is about this for me is I'd never see anyone do this or talk about it. Actually, might have to go to all. So many people hate on it and tell you not to even try to trade with a small account, just trade with practice. But I've made money time and time again doing it, and it's just kind of ridiculous. That people will just want you to pay money so they can get you in their Discord or whatever, just so they can, tell you to stay in a practice account and save up money and spend more money to sometimes risk it and quit. That's probably why a lot of people end up quitting before they figure it out. They just put too much money on the line, and next thing you know, so here is a 30-day contract out, and for this, like, Somewhere between 10 and 17 is what I would look at. Now you can see the further down you go, they kind of lose value, obviously, and they get less volatile. Also, pretty obvious. But you'll see the gaps get bigger from 5, probably to 10, maybe. No, well, looks like they stick around 5. But as you move up, you'll see the contracts go from 5 to $1. So the closer you can get to those levels is what you want to be at. So for this, account with less than $20, I would probably do something like the 5.95 call, and I would hold that for a couple weeks maybe and see how that plays out, or maybe just a week. If there's a nice pop and you see that move, I'd probably take profit on that. But also right now, I don't think I would want to buy anything today. It's already made a pretty big move today, decent volume pouring in, and I think there's also a decent chance that the market comes down. And the last thing you want to be is crushed by VIX. So that is very frustrating. If you get caught in that VIX crush, you can even watch the market go up, and you'll be, heading in the right direction, but your contract will sit flat and it won't move. So that's really annoying. So you don't want to be in that position. What you want to be is buying somewhere in this level if you can get to that, but also, watch for that bounce. If the market starts to pull back, some news comes out, it would be a good time to look for some SPY puts further out. And you'll also notice a difference in the prices with calls and puts. It's not going to be the same, 10 contracts down from the money in the calls versus puts is not always going to be the same. So, for example, like the 564 calls are 400, but if you move 10 down to the 543 puts, they're 600. So the puts are actually more expensive right now. And that's just the way it goes. And the market is still ripping. And so if you were to buy this one around this range, the 10 to 12, you can see the order book right here. What I would do is I would just wait if you were, like, all right, I just want to buy it today just in case the market keeps running. Even if VIX does pull back, it's honestly, it's not going to be too much to where you see a really bad crush. And if it does start ripping a good amount, it's going to move. This can go, if the market moves theoretically $10 in the next couple days, you could expect this contract to run, if you're buying the 595, you could expect it to go run between 10 to $30, for example. That's not exact, a lot of variables in there, but you would expect to see a move somewhere in that line. And then the further you move up, that's kind of how you can judge it, But if you want to make the most money, obviously risk a little bit more, and you would want to go up to 580. And then these is where you'll really start seeing some exponential gain with those gap ups and gap downs, depending on if you're playing calls or puts. But that's another beautiful thing about playing swing trades is the market does tend to gap up and down. And so, you can have a couple good exit opportunities, sometimes multiple days where you'll be in profit, and then throughout the day, it'll kind of slowly go out of profit, hold it again overnight, goes back in profit, things like that. Man, I need some water. Hold on a second. How long have we been going? 25 minutes. Feels good. I need to build up my talking stamina. Maybe get some music going on here. I don't know. Something really awkward about drinking out of a straw on camera. I don't know what it is. So yeah, the market is still ripping right now. And looking at this contract, what's going on here? That's not the order book I want. So if you watch the book on here, you'll see these contracts slowly start to be bought up if the market continues trend. And sometimes you can be the last one in and you can buy that single contract. I've had it happen so many times. And not even always with the month out. Sometimes it's with just the 1 day till expire, 3 days till expire, because they're less volatile. There's less volume in there. And you'll just see the book moving slow, and you'll just be the first one in. And if you hold that for a couple days, the next thing you know, that thing is in the money, and it's it's, instead of being the loser that has no volume, it's suddenly suddenly the Mr. Popular that everyone wants to buy. So it's pretty crazy, you know. That's why technical analysis is so important, and having a plan, you know, and an entry and exit plan, because not everything's gonna go your way. That's for sure. You know, if you're trading good, you'll be, you know, hitting, you know, 60% green trades average. My goal is typically around 65, and usually it is around there. So sometimes it's better for a while. Sometimes it's a little closer to 62, but it usually is around that range. And as long as your losses aren't bigger than your wins, obviously, that's what you want to look for. So yeah, we are still cooking along. And I need to figure out a good way so I can kind of watch the market and trade futures. But let's just take a swing. This is just a practice account anyway, so I was trying to wait for a pullback. But we'll see right here. So this is the 15-second chart, and let's see if we can get a pullback. I actually have my iPad down here on my right side, so maybe I can watch a little bit on there. But I do wish you guys could see everything at the same time, so that was a little frustrating. So actually, I'm gonna wait a second, wait for a better buying opportunity. I almost feel like I just want to buy just to buy because I'm, you know, streaming right now and I just want to make a trade for you guys, which probably isn't smart, regardless if it's practice or not. It's not a good practice. No pun intended. Um, but yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know if I should stream on Twitch at all too. That's also been a thought. Or other platforms. You know, I've just been loyal to YouTube, and I think I'll just keep it on here. Maybe once in a while I'll do something on Twitch, but I just don't know how many people use Twitch. Um, yeah, I don't know why that came to my mind. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here on these charts so we can get a good idea, see if there's room for a pullback. And actually, let's look. Well, before I do that, let's flip over to here. Let's look at the 4-hour chart for all these stocks. See how much room we have to run. Look at that, Nvidia. Perfect cup going on right here. We'll see what happens. Man, it is right at resistance and is looking to keep running. I almost said looking for cooking, but that makes no sense at all. This is what I was talking about. See how it duplicated that? And now I can't even remember. Oh, my light just shut off. Now I can't even remember what I had there. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Meta? Think it was Meta, you guys. I figured it out. Yeah. Nvidia though, making waves. I guess that should be no surprise. I bet AMD is doing good too. AMD cooking. So if you're looking to invest in the tech sector, those are the two that I would personally recommend. I'm obviously not a financial advisor. I don't know if you guys were aware of that or not, but I have been trading since 2018, so I can say that. But yeah, look at AMD. Same chart basically as Nvidia. Again, not surprising. And Nvidia tends to make bigger moves. So, you know, Nvidia up 7%, AMD up 6. And ever since Nvidia split, you know, there's really no reason to buy AMD unless you really like that company more. Because Nvidia is lower entry cost. You know, I know some platforms will offer you know, partial shares or whatever the hell they're called. But I'm not into buying a partial share, not unless it's Bitcoin or something. Google. You know what? I did have Google on. I thought I had Google up here at one point. That is a great point, James Washington. I should have Google on here. Good old Alphabet stock. Little fun fact about Alphabet stock. Back in probably 2019 or something like that, Webull was still pretty new. I don't know if they still do these kind of raffles or giveaways or whatever. But my freaking fiance got a free Google stock in the free stock that you get when you sign up. I was just like, what? Because I had already gotten, you know, like 6 or 7 of them. Um, and they were all like $4 or $5 stocks. The next thing I know, She's just like, oh, check this out. What's this mean? She doesn't even know what she got. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, I know they still do like things where they'll give you stocks when you sign up like that, but I don't know what the odds are of winning something like that, or if they even give those away, or if they'd rather just give you, 20 freaking AMC stocks at this point. I don't know. It says I'm having an error. YouTube is not receiving. What does this mean? I think it's working still. I'm just gonna roll with it. So yeah, we have a half hour left in the day, and the market is just ripping. So here is Google. And let's look at the quotes so we can see what's going on here. Volume at 30 million. I'm not sure what the average is, but I would assume it's right there, 60 million. And SPY, what's the average on 3 months for SPY? Oh, I don't have it up there for that. No wonder I didn't know earlier. I was like, man, I am dumb. I didn't even see that. And I've used Webull for so long. So yeah, Google average volume 18, volume 11. Pretty interesting. It is also at resistance, and right now, there could be a potential setup for it to fill. It's not really filling a gap, but what you'll see is a potential for a strong move to the upside if it does break the resistance. Now, as I'm speaking, SPY has hit resistance at 553.50. Not too surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back and bounce, around 550. 553, 552.50 in that range if it is going to continue trend. So if you're holding something, these are those kind of things where you don't want to panic. And like I said, don't get lost in the sauce. If you're staring at the 15-second chart, and you're not used to trading, you're going to start freaking out, especially if you put it like this and you make the bars really big. Every little tick, you're going to be like, oh no, oh no. So don't do that, especially if you're not experienced, because it's not going to be good for your freaking health. Not good for the old ticker. You're going to be anxious. And it's pretty crazy. When I first started trading, I was just so anxious, just trading with like a dollar. I think it's mostly just the excitement. I've always been so excited about it. As soon as I figured out I could trade from my phone and make money, it's like, what? Like, this is incredible. And of course, come to find it, it does definitely take time and effort to learn that. You got to put in the hours, but there's no other skill I'd rather, put in tons and tons of work and hours into, than trading and learning, different techniques, trading different sectors, whether it's SPY or futures, options, crypto, things like that. It's just pretty freaking cool, and you can do it anywhere in the world. It's amazing. So definitely an opportunity I think everyone should learn about. It's kind of a shame they don't teach you more about it in school, in basic school, I guess. But yeah. So I just need to take a breath for a second, man. This is nuts. SPY is really coming up on some momentum here. It's kind of inversing that day from September 3rd. But we're running out of time in the day. Also, take a look at the 200 moving average right now. That's another key level of resistance. So watch for that. And also watch for the breakthrough that. That's also another key indicator that the market's going to continue and start ripping. So, you can see I have the 21, the 50, the 200. And depending on which time level you're looking at, that's going to change. And you're gonna it's gonna kind of help guide you and help guide you to give you different levels, without having to put too much time and effort of staring at the chart. It's gonna kind of point you in the right direction. But yeah, so back to Google really quick. This is interesting to see what Google's up to. I have that alert right here. Let me just move it down a little bit. But what I was saying is what you'll see oftentimes, there was a gap up here and then a huge sell-off, mostly all pre-market. I'm not sure what happened that day. Maybe I should know, but I don't. If someone knows in chat, I would love, let me know. But I don't know. But what I can tell you right here is if it does break through this level with any strength, especially this key level right here, I would expect a nice pop, a similar candle to this one. up to this level, and then I expect a little bit of resistance, but not a whole lot because this was traded all pre-market. There wasn't a ton of volume, and that's why you'll see so much, price action and movement with less volume right there. And so because there hasn't been a whole lot of volume traded there, I would expect some decent movement. And if we zoom out even further, let's see what we're really working with. Excuse me, I need some more water. Okay, I'm back. And still feel awkward drinking out of the straw on camera. I don't know if that's ever going to change. But back to Google and what we're looking at here on the daily chart. And shout out to Sadie on Twitter. Just want to throw that out there. That guy's a wizard. But anyways, back to the daily chart. You can see we are actually coming up on a gap on the daily if we continue down, but also we are at a level of support going all the way back. Maybe look at the weekly really quick. I just want to see if there's any levels prior to this. So there was. So this is why I went all the way back to the weekly, because I couldn't see here. So in 2021, we were previously here at 150. And so right here, I would expect a nice bounce, but if it doesn't bounce, it's not going to look good for the market. But I think this could be a good level of support. So I wouldn't expect too much more move to the downside as long as the market's holding up. But yeah, you can see this is why it stopped where it stopped. Not a coincidence. Again, TA is always king, man. It is so good to be prepared. And that's why I like trading, the same stocks over and over, because you get to know them so well and you start to know the history of them. And of course, it's good to know all these big stocks because they're the ones that really move the market. And they're probably the ones that most people are going to want to hold long term, whether they're day trading the options or they're just buying the stocks and holding them. They're good ones to keep for obvious reasons. So yeah, Google's interesting right now. It should be cool to see if we can break through this level right here and continue uptrend. And hopefully it doesn't move down. So I'm just going to leave my alert right here. And hopefully when it goes off, I remember to actually take note of it. I think streaming it will make it a little bit easier. Help me remember. All right. Uh, wait a second. Oh. All right. So SPY. What is going on with SPY? And see, it was crazy. Again, I can't preach about TA enough. I mean, these are levels I drew or marked down. I don't know how long ago. Probably back here when we were hitting those levels before. And again, they're still relevant today. Even looking at the 1 minute chart, it's pretty incredible. You see it hit those levels, bounce around. What you'll see is the market, when it's in trend and not just chopping side to side, is you'll see it move up, hit resistance, consolidate, build support, move up, hit resistance, consolidate, build support. And that's where you want to mark those levels. And that's, what you'll see happen here. So it moves up, bounces around, consolidates, moves up, rejects, and then, right here, I think that's actually where I sold this gosh darn 552 call, and I got shaken out. It was aggressive, and so I decided to move on. I shouldn't have, but technically I stuck to my rule and just cut losses when I told myself. So it's one of those things where you feel good. It's like where you build up willpower. You tell yourself you're going to do the right thing and then you do it. And so that willpower gets stronger and you feel good about it. But in this case, there's that salt in the wound. So anyways, moving on before I dwell on my past. And I can't wait to hold some of those trades live on stream. That is going to be so exciting. And it's going to be cool to see when some of you guys are holding those same positions because, man, that snowball effect is real. You can grow a $20-$50 account into anything. You can see my $8 challenge playlist on here where I started with $8 and grew it to 100, which obviously 100 isn't crazy, but compared to $8, it's way more. And then starting from there, you can do that again, and just, rinse and repeat. And it's pretty incredible, the power. You just got to build up your strategy. Not mine's not going to work for everyone, but it will work for some of you guys for sure. And what I did was just watch a lot of different people. I took some of their strategies and I kind of just figured out what worked best for me. What I started with was penny stocks. So right now, SPY pulling back, and I expect it to bounce in this area if it isn't bounced already. So again, this is why I have the 15-second chart over here, just so I can kind of see, what it's really thinking. Because often it will just kind of look like it's not moving a lot, especially if you're looking at a 5-minute chart. But if you have that up there, you can see really those micro trends that I was talking about, that trend within the trend. There's always a micro trend, even within the 15-second. There's still, the 5-second and the 1 second and then the ticker second, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it is riding this trend quite nicely, bouncing off support here, the 50 on the 1-minute chart. But if it breaks through here, I would expect a decent pullback. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. If it pulls back hard, that's a long ways to go. I don't know if it will. But yeah, you can expect pretty pretty strong support around 550 if it does decide it wants to reverse for the last 20 minutes of the day. I wouldn't be shocked if we had a violent pullback. The SPY never ceases to amaze me. So again, never think you're smarter than it. All you can do is prepare, and eventually, trends become more familiar and you'll spot them easier. But yeah, I'm moving this alert down here. And what I'll really watch for is this breakthrough support around 551.50 now. So since it has broke through that 50 on the moving average, just kind of watch. This is not a situation where you want to jump in and be like, all right, I'm going to buy a call. Looks like it's going to bounce. No, you don't want to catch a falling knife. Wait for that to play around for a little bit. See what it's going to do. And again, it's the last 15 minutes of the day. So if you're trading same day till expire, man, good luck, because it's going to be very volatile. But hey, that can also be really fun. I've had some pretty crazy things happen in the last 15 minutes of the day. And depending on what platform you're trading on, you might not be able to. You have to stick to rules. It is tough as heck though when you get out. Dude, could man, I'm trying to read and think at the same time, and I just sound dumb, so I apologize. John, you have to stick to rules. It is tough as heck, though. When you get out due to a good rule, then it runs 4,000%. Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is. At least you can say, all right, I did what I told myself I would do, because that's what really matters. The worst thing ever is not following your rule, and then, your position just goes negative or goes to zero or whatever happens. And then it hurts, man. That hurts. That takes away your confidence. And that's not what you want. You want to be confident. You want to be calm, cool, and collected when you're trading. You don't want to overthink things. You want to sit back, analyze it, and a lot of it is your gut and intuition comes into play too. you know and sometimes you have to get that just from learning the hard way of watching trades play out and just being like, oh man, I knew that's what was going to happen. Or a lot of those situations are what build up into being your intuition, where you decide, all right, I'm going to hold through this. I've kind of seen this very similar situation before. The market doesn't always rhyme perfectly or repeat, but it does rhyme. So, you know, some of the setups are almost identical. And you can obviously study charts and get good at that. And that's something I would like to eventually cover too. Just spend some time with you guys, just going over charts, not only for you guys, but for myself too. It's always good to remind yourself and just restudy things and learn new things too. But it's always good to revisit things that you've learned in the past. I'm sure there's stuff that I've learned that I've either forgot, or maybe I just it didn't register at the time. Sometimes it's right place, right time for you to really soak things in. So that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, the market is bouncing, it's staying on trend. Pretty freaking cool. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on it. Looking at the 15-minute chart, and we are hitting that resistance. So 553.50 again is where I'm looking for resistance. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of gap up tomorrow around 555. But look at that beautiful trend, man. Congratulations to anyone holding on through that. That is nice. Very little pullbacks relative. It looks like I got caught in the worst one. Go figure. But that's right when these were crossing too. So if I would have just held on a little bit longer, it is what it is. I'm not dwelling on it. I swear. But man, yeah, it is gonna be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. And let's zoom out or zoom in a little bit here. This is looking sloppy. Actually, switch over here. Market again. Market is just in sync, if you will. Some of them obviously with bigger moves than the other, but all of them have very similar patterns. And this is one of those days. It's pretty easy day to trade. Honestly, you can just kind of get into a position and ride it out. But it's also easy to be overconfident, get shaken out in those small trends, and then walking away irritated. So, again, don't let the market fool you and don't fool yourself. You'll never be smarter than it. But these are great scenarios to be where you can get into profit fairly early and just kind of hold on to it, set that stop loss, take profit, go on with your day, right? That's everyone's goal here, just to get into that quick trade, get in and out as soon as possible, or get into profit and set it where you're comfortable walking away for the day. And once in a while, that thing will just keep running. If you give it enough wiggle room, you don't set your stop loss too tight, crazy things can happen, right? Again, prime example, 552 calls today. If you guys weren't her, oh man, now I'm really sounding crazy. If you guys weren't here earlier when I mentioned it, I was holding this earlier, bought and sold break even for $3, and it ran 4,000%. And actually, it looks like it's ran further than that since then. So, pretty incredible. This burn, but I hope this, gets you guys excited. I'm not sure how many people in the world know that there's options out there you can buy for $5 and sell for over 100 in the same day. And if you're, more risk, more reward, right? So it's just pretty crazy, the power of options and the opportunities really out there. So, I'm excited to get the small account challenge going, and I'm excited for you guys to join along and see where it takes us, because it can, the sky is the limit. There's no cap here. And I'm not using any Gen Z slang or whatever. And this is no cap on how much money you can make. I mean, Warren Buffett, obviously a prime example. I don't know what his net worth is. Maybe I'll ask Siri. Hey Siri, what's Warren Buffett's net worth?
According to Forbes.com, Warren Buffett's net worth is $139 billion.
Wow. Let that inspire you guys. $139 billion. Get good at this. Man, I just need a fraction of that, and your family's set forever. And that's really the goal. It's pretty crazy, the power out there. So, don't give up. That's really the message, is just don't give up. You have your whole life to get good at trading. But you don't want to, give up and look back in 5 years and be like, dang, where would my account be if I would have just not gave up? A lot can happen in 5 years. And even if you were to just buy and hold something for 5 years, I mean, look at Bitcoin. The first time I bought Bitcoin was in like 2018, I think, maybe 17. I want to say 18 though. And I think my first purchase was like $2, and it's like, I think I'm still holding it, whatever it is, but it's up thousands of percent. And it's just pretty crazy. Obviously, that's more of an extreme example. But there's lots of opportunities out there. And even if you're just to buy and hold something. Oh, come on. Exactly. Just give me a taste, man. I just want that teaspoon. Just let me wet my beak a little bit. That's all. Doesn't have to be a lot. I'm not greedy here. There's so much money, and it's funny when you say an ocean of money, because if you were to take it all the money that is, not even printed, you could probably fill like at least Lake Michigan or something. And that would be that's a Mr. Beast video I'm waiting to see. Here we are though. Market is bouncing. I guarantee a lot of people got shaken out right there. And at the same time, those market makers were just, just laughing, because it was pretty predictable that bounce. But obviously, it's easier said than done, and hindsight is always 2020. But if you're following the trend, that was pretty spot on to what you would expect as far as the pullback. It pulled all the way back to 552 exactly. I think I said what I said, 553 to 552.50, I might have said. I don't remember what I said. I guess you guys could rewind it if you really care. But that's what you would look for. And heading into the last 8 minutes, we'll see what happens. Man, my predictions. Ooh, we might hit 554 at this rate. It is looking spicy right now. I don't know what it's thinking. So when it gets down to this point where it's getting more volatile, I'm like, all right, let me look at the 15-second chart on everything, because what you'll see is everything just start to take off like a rocket, and you'll immediately need to freaking zoom out. So we'll see if the market is gonna all start ripping at once, or if it's gonna shake and bake and just pull back. But so far it is looking good. This is not somewhere I would recommend buying too, by the way. This would be chasing. If you're trying to get in right now for this last minute run, definitely chasing, and you are risking this whole pullback here. And depending on when it expires, that's gonna hurt. So don't chase. This would have been where you would want to take that chance, be like, all right, I'm gonna try to buy a call, and I wouldn't do it here. I would have done it, after these first couple candles on the uptrend. But after there, you don't want to chase too much further than that, because you're gonna miss out on all of the profit is gonna slowly shrink, the potential profit, and it's gonna be frustrating. So take it from me, I've done it too many times. And the market is looking froggy. Let's look at the 1 minute. Sometimes the 15-second is really it's too much. Not gonna lie, I like it on the SPY at all times, but to have it on everything, it is too much going on. And let's look at the hour. Let's see here. So Google making that move. Wow. As we were talking about, it is coming up on that level of resistance that we were just talking about, and looking like it wants a gap. So with Google, I wouldn't be surprised if it gaps up tomorrow around to that 153.50 level, somewhere in this range. Would not be surprised. If SPY gaps up, that's where I would expect Google to move. You could go through all of these and really kind of guess where you would expect a potential move to be. And depending on how risky you want to be, you could take a swing trade. You could take a weekly, monthly, depending on how risky, and also you could hedge it. If you think there's a possibility it rejects here, because it could. It rejected last time, was that on the 9th, technically. It came up, rejected, and then rejected pre-market. So, but it is looking good. SPY is taking off like a rocket. Here it goes. SPY hitting 554. So that was my prediction, and that was only 2 minutes ago. Will it hit 555? 555.75? Let's see here. That was the last level I have marked out here, and I'm guessing it was probably chopping around there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some resistance naturally at 555. But yeah, market is ripping. Hopefully some of you guys are holding on to this. Hold on to your seats. We are going. Market is taking no prisoners. It is going all the way right now. This is pretty nasty. You definitely don't see moves like this every day, that's for sure. 554.48. We are going. We are going. Gotta love the volatility. Volume now at 60 million. And hey Siri, what's the average volume for SPY in the last 3 months?
I can't help you with that.
You kidding me? Google could help me with that. I guess I could Google it, right? But I am mesmerized by this price action right now. All right, I will Google it. I'll use my phone. God forbid I do anything and my computer crashes right now. So currently Googling, last thing I Googled, in case you guys are wondering, is Sweet Dreams, the movie. I don't think I've seen it. It's got Johnny Knoxville. Knoxville? Johnny Knoxville. My God, I can't talk. Theo Vaughn. And I think some other people in there. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Let me know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Anyways, what is the average volume for SPY as it's ripping? I think it's gonna hit 555 now. Got 4 minutes to spare. 15 second chart right here. Tripping on my tongue. And average volume for SPY. 3 months. My fingers are kind of cold. It's kind of hard to type. It's 66 in here, so I mean, I guess it's not really cold, but it's definitely not warm. Yeah, shorts bailing out is definitely helping this. Yeah, 100%, John. I completely agree. It's not just buying, it's all the shorts selling their positions, which is, ultimately buying if you want to look at it like that. Kind of reverse buying, right? You sell a call and then now they have to buy it back in. But yeah, they are definitely bailing on their positions. It's all that fear that's been on in the market on Twitter, whether it's the hedge funds or just, private investors. People get so convinced so easily when there's just a one day. That's really what caused it. We had one pretty nasty day and then all of a sudden everyone was freaking out. But here we are back to 555 and man, I'm going to end the stream looking at the 552 call because I'm probably going to start crying. Cause, oh man, that thing is probably so nasty right now. I almost forgot about it. I think I tried to block it out of my memory. Yep, tried to memory hole it. And there it is, 555. Can we keep going? We have a minute and 40 seconds. Will we hit that 555.75 level? And well, you can see here on the hour chart where I got those levels right here. So that's where I got the resistance from. You can see back on August 28th, there's a little bit of that level towards the end of the day and after hours. And then again on September 3rd, we kind of basically hit support there, consolidated, and then broke through. So that is where that's coming from. And again, I won't be surprised if we hit it because the last time we traded between this level and 575 was on the third. Wait, yeah, on the third, and it was only, very little price action. So 1 minute left. Can we do it? Can we go 50 cents here? Um, yeah, exactly, John. Who could have seen this coming? I mean, yeah, my levels were here, so I guess technically I could see it, but who could predict the strong volume to pour in today? This is kind of these levels I would have expected to play out over 2 or 3 days. Probably, throughout the week. Not all in one day. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna be the frustrating thing about a nice move like, oh, oh man. And here's the profit taking. Oh, oh, there you go. Market close. So look at that. It was only, what is that? 50, 45 cents, 40 cents away from my level of resistance right there. Pretty crazy. So again, technical analysis is king. And let's close off the day by looking at this. First off, thank you guys so much for being here. Truly appreciate it. The first stream, I have no idea how many people even seen this go out. And so I just thank you guys so much. Again, expect this every day. Unless I think I actually have a couple appointments this week for my kids. So I might stream earlier. So if I'm not here for power hour, I'll do it before power hour and I'll just get it in. But yeah, so I'm excited to keep this going and excited to see all our accounts grow and start the small account challenge. So thank all you guys in the chat so much, or thank you guys so much, man. Can't talk. And let's wrap it up looking at the 552 call. Holy crap! Oh my God! So it ran over 1,000% after I sold it. Yep, I bought this at 3 and it hit 334. Let's see if Siri can help me out with this one. Hey Siri, what is the percentage gain from $3 to $334?
I found this on the web.
This is not helpful. What is this, Siri? My God. Okay, let's try to draw it out really quick to wrap this up. That is painful. Oh man, I've had a lot of painful trades like this. This is one of the bigger ones. 334. There it is. This contract ran 12,346%. Is that even right? Doesn't even seem right, but I think it is. Yeah, it is, because 30 would have been 1,000. Man, I'm an idiot. Holy crap, 12,000%. There it is, you guys. This contract ran 12,000% today. That is pretty freaking incredible. Let that get you guys excited. You know, all you would have to do is risk $10 to buy 3 of those, sell 2 of them once they pop for $10 or $15, and just sit on that last one, take a nap, wake up at market close for a 12,000% gain. Incredible. So that's a wrap on the day. Thank you guys so much for coming by, and I will see you tomorrow. Hope you're all staying happy and healthy.